Hey friends, my name's Aaron Ciotti. I wasn't able to stop that song at a good point, but hey, here we are. Welcome to the show. Sunday things are gonna happen on the live stream. That's it. That's what we're doing today. All right. We are going to investigate. Not really. We're gonna tear. This is the Canopy Camera Walksnail VTX and AIO. Originally from the 65mm Freestyle build that I put into a Meteor 75 airframe to do a little bit more head-to-head testing of motors. This is sort of the 75mm Walksnail build in its like final form or whatever. Meteor 75 airframe, custom-ish, 0802, 33,000 kV motors with 1.5mm bells. 1.5mm motor shafts. I did this by pulling the bells off of a set of iGAO motors and putting them on the Imoptera or whatever however it's pronounced, 0802 33,000 kV stators. GemFit and biblades, of course, the 1610s, Beta FPV 5 amp cross AIO, Walksnail Lite Mobula 6 canopy. This, to me, is really as good as it's going to get for a 75mm freestyle rig. You've seen me fly it inside. It's tough. This is really for jungle gym bashing. Small yards, jungle gyms, this is going to rule. BT 2.0, of course. So yeah, this is kind of done, and like I don't need to have multiple 75mm rigs. Kind of don't want to have any 75mm rigs, but hey, here we are. A lot of other people like them. I don't know, for railing around the jungle gym, the 75's additional weight does help because it gets a little windy outside. So yeah, for that kind of stuff, I dig it. Although there's a bunch of people that actually prefer the way 65s fly outside, but hey, is what it is. I need to order more solder wick. more of this specific solder wick. I have some other stuff floating around. So yeah, this can come apart. I did find an issue with this VTX though. This is a VTX that I pulled the heatsink off, so hopefully this isn't related to that. I don't think it would or should be, but this Walksnail Lite VTX, the bit rate, like when you dig into the throttle, the bit rate just dumps like crazy. I think there's something going on with it, because this is the same thing and it's completely fine, but this one does have the heatsink on it. So there is a chance that is heatsink related. I doubt it though. I doubt it. So yeah, we're gonna pull this apart and get it back into a 65mm build with the 40,000 kV prototype motors that Zotac very kindly sent me. That's kind of exciting. You know, those motors on the Freestyle analog rigs are a bit much. They're absolutely hysterical, but it's a bit much. Luckily, and very kindly, Zotac sent me 2 sets of the prototype motors, and so the second set is going to go onto this Walksnail build. And yeah, in the brief, well, now that I think about it, this actually will be really interesting. There's a chance that the KV is so high that like halfway through the battery, if I go full throttle, it'll brown the VTX out. So this will actually be kind of interesting. This build is going to require fresh batteries for sure. I'll be super interested to see. I've noticed this on the 36,000s. They really sag the batteries down hard. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We're gonna do it, and then I mean it's motor plugs, so it'll be quick and easy to swap the motors out. And if the 40,000s are too much, if it's like you know I can't go full throttle at all halfway through the battery, they're gonna come off, and I'm gonna swap into the 36s, and we'll basically find what the most powerful lightweight motor is that you can get half decent runtime with. You know, runtime is one of the main problems with the with these Walksnail rigs, which makes sense. You know, we're carrying around 20 to 30% extra weight, and we don't have frames that'll hold a bigger battery. Not that I would really want to put a higher mAh battery in it, because that would then make the weight go up even more. The flight performance really suffers from the extra 6 grams from the Walksnail VTX rather. So yeah, continuing to add more and more weight is rough. That was a terrible screen for it to freeze on. So yeah, I'll take the hit in runtime for something that flies a little bit better. You know what I mean? What's up, chat? And then it's, of course, a Q&A live stream, and we're going to try to fly our 6 batteries, which I should get charging if we're going to do that. Right? It's hard to fly dead batteries. There we go. So maybe if we can get this build done, I'll charge up some 300s, and there's a chance we can get this build done. I doubt it, because I'm going to have to solder up the... I'm actually going to switch VTXs. I'm going to switch over to a fresh VTX. I'm really tempted to pull the heatsink off of it. Have any of you guys pulled heat sinks off of the Walksnail VTXs? Have you noticed any weirdness with your bitrate dropping when you hammer on the throttle? I'm worried that the light the light Walksnail setup that they sell with the VTX that has had the heatsink removed already, I'm worried that there's some kind of like a different firmware on that, um, to prevent what's happening to this one. So this is the first Walksnail VTX that I've removed the heatsink on. So yeah, I'm worried that on the VTXs that come with the heatsinks, there's something different about them, right? Where it like expects, because like what I'm thinking is there's a chance that like without the heat shield, without the heat sink rather, there's like one chip, one part of that little area there that usually gets heat sinked that'll get really hot, and they've got some kind of firmware on the VTX that expects to have the heat sink where it throttles the performance as soon as that gets hot, whereas maybe on the light VTX, they've got different firmware that doesn't throttle it like that and just lets it go, and it's just kind of like a YOLO VTX. So, have any of you guys removed the heatsink from a regular Walksnail VTX and noticed any weird behavior with the... I don't think that's it. And I do have an extra one of these VTXs. And so, like, I'm really tempted to... I gotta get it out anyway. I'm really tempted to remove the heatsink on this one, like, now. And see if it... You know what I mean? See if it does the same thing. Or I can leave the heatsink. But no, it's a 65mm rig. So I really can't leave the heatsink on there. It's going to be too hot. So yeah, it's got to go. It's got to go for sure. But like, I don't want to ruin another one of these VTXs. This one over here is technically not ruined yet, but I guess the move is to put the heatsink back on it. What did I do with that heatsink? Becomes the question. And I can't really do that. I would need thermal paste to do that, and I don't have any. Is that a thing? Anybody? Hold on. I'm gonna scroll down in the chat. Yeah, no. Nobody in the chat yet seems to have responded to that. Okay, so I don't know. I don't even know where that heatsink is. What did I do with it? Did I eat it? I might have eaten it. Let me see. I'm going to check one spot real quick. I'm just going to check one quick place for that heatsink. Because maybe the heatsink has the stuff on it. Look, I got it. I found it. I use my Walksnail goggle case to hold all my boxes and shit. So here it is. Here be the little heatsink. And I mean, there is a bunch of thermal paste still on it. Maybe I can just swap it on there. Hold on, let's see. Let me just like touch the thermal paste and see if it's still like squishy or whatever. Nah, it's pretty hard. I wonder if I hit it with a bunch of heat. What I'm thinking, right? Like the quickest way to kind of try, I believe, to troubleshoot this problem is to... I don't need two of these. Is to put this heatsink back on, because the VTX is already on, you know? But I don't want to like... I want to make sure that I put the heatsink back on there right? Like if it's not actually making proper contact, then it's not going to sink any heat. See what I did there? Get it? Sink? I don't get it either. So yeah, we'll try that. We'll try that first. Try to put this thing back on. See if it hangs on there. I have a couple of batteries that... What can I put it into? I shouldn't have torn it apart. Well, I pulled the motors off of it, so it was already torn apart. Okay, so we'll put it into a 65 frame that's got motors in it. Not the right motors, but why not the right motors? You know, we'll put it into one with the right motors. Yeah, why wouldn't we? Yeah, okay. So that's the plan, my friends. We're gonna fire 6 batteries, probably analog. And you should too. Cool. And it's a Q&A stream, as they all are. Ask any questions that you've got. No Joshua today. I was sad to see that. Like hanging out with my buddy before my streams. Apache Smoke Wounded Sniper says, what's up? In the chat, Bob Bruce was first, Kevin Sumner was next. Apache Smoke, Free Lojo, Raging Leet, Michael Kajas, Mac FPV, Frank Nicholas, Matt Norton, Wake and Bake, newest patron, Wake and Bake. Thank you for the support, my friend. Stavel, Hockey Rounds, David 4F, Douglas Otwell, Zero Taste FPV. There we go. Troy Prelog, Bob Bruce, Hendrix Freakazoid, Slowcal, Sleepy CBR, Great Scott, Espander, not Espander, just Espander. Daniel 1964, Forktail Devil, No One FPV, Stephen G, Simo, Forktailed, Bob Bruce, Sleepy CBR, Northern Tier, Hater 13, Up Close FPV, Limits, Anonymous, CMYK's in the house, Bob Bruce, Jarbeezy, Sock Eating Golden, and Rob Groove. What's up, friends? Thanks for coming. Ask any questions you've got. Just make sure you tag me. Type CiottiFPV, and it'll light up an orange for me, and I'll read your comment. Otherwise, I won't. I tried to fly for a little. I've tried to fly this for a little same-day flight on the intro, and all the motors were spinning the wrong direction. So yeah, there was that. But hey, that's life sometimes. I'm starting to develop a theory that, and this I'm pretty sure that this theory has been proved wrong at least once, but the motor connectors with the red dots on them are supposed to go on motors 1 and 3. I'm sorry, not 1 and 3, 1 and 4. So back right, front left should be the motors with the red dots. Maybe. It depends on many things. But I think that's the case. I think the red dot goes on motor 1. That's the easiest way to remember it. Red dot, motor 1. I could totally be wrong, though. Could 100% be wrong. And I'm certain that I've had at least one rig in the last month that I've been paying attention to the little red dots that's not true on. The problem is, I have motors that I have removed the leads from. I have motors that I've swapped the state. I have ESCs that in the ESC settings I've reversed it. So yeah, what I need to do is get a fresh set of motors out of the box, like these, and then put the red dots on motors 1 and 4 and see what happens. Maybe that'll happen today. Maybe. You never know. It could. A cow could jump over the moon at the same time as that happening. Espander says, hey, gangly gang. Hi, CiottiFPV. Forktail Devil says, is the clone Popper Deluxe better than the Prop Popper V2 in your experience? I have no idea. I don't have the clone Popper. Hope the 75mm outdoor flying was good. It wasn't. It was non-existent. I armed it and it went... It didn't take off, and I came back inside. I do have a clone Popper on the way. Jesse had a... Jesse from TinyWhoop.com. He had that big-ass race in Ohio, which delayed shipping, and I ordered mine right on top of that. So it's not here yet, but it'll be here maybe tomorrow, hopefully. We'll see. It'll get here when it gets here. Raging Leet says, what's the best of the best analog camera? In my opinion, there really isn't. First and foremost, they all kind of look like hell, so it doesn't really make that much of a difference. If you want to be completely insane about it, the Caddx Ant seems to perform pretty well outside, but it really sucks inside. And then inside, they're anything but the Caddx Ant. Newbie Drone BI I really like, and it's got a wider field of view. Runcam Nano 3 I really like, and that has a slightly narrower field of view. Those are two of my favorites. The Tiny Whoop Pinch gets a lot of love. I've not found that to be great in low light, although I think maybe there's something might just be wrong with mine. Yeah, I mean, there's not a best. They're just different. And so if you can find some reviews here on YouTube and one of them looks the way that you want it to look, yeah, you can do that. To me, the Runcam Nano 3 is the lightest, and so that gets the nod, and it fits in the really durable Mobula 6 canopy, so that one to me is the best. The image quality, the image quality has to go through an analog VTX, which makes it look like a bag of smashed assholes, so the image quality kind of doesn't matter on them. It's more about the weight, the durability to me, and the Runcam Nano 3 has been the king there. So yeah, there's a bunch of feedback for you, and then you can make your own decision, because like I said, there is no best, there's just different. Northern Tier says, are you going to use the stock antenna, or the one that came with mine is chunky? I use True RC Singularity antennas on my stuff, because I'm trying to get like the lowest possible latency on the Walksnail system. So yeah, I've spent the $20 each on the True RC Singularities, and they work really well. Hey, speaking of HDZero, they released the Eco HDZero Mobula 6 2024. What a name. And it's really cheap. I have absolutely no idea how it's as cheap as it is. But yeah, $150. HDZero Mobula 6 Eco. I don't know about it. Look, I mean, here's the thing. If you're on HDZero, you're going to get it. I don't need to tell you to or not to get it. You're just going to get it. And that's great. I just don't know, man. I don't know about it. It's no lighter. It's cheaper. Eco means cheaper. It doesn't mean lighter weight. So it's still like a 5-point-something gram weight penalty, which really hurts runtime, flight performance, all that stuff. If you're already on HDZero, like I said, you're going to get it, and you're probably going to dig it, because it's cool to fly around a Tiny Whoop with digital. If you're not currently on HDZero, I don't think you should get it, because Walksnail has so many advantages. I mean, it's just the image quality is so much better. The way that it breaks up is so much cleaner. Yes, it's going to cost you a lot more money, and you're going to have to do like a custom build, but it's not that bad. It's 4 wires, and you're going to hunt around for some grommets and for some longer hardware, and that's about it. So yeah, I love that it exists, and I love that it's $150. And if you're on HDZero right now, it's kind of a no-brainer, especially for $150. But yeah, Walksnail on Tiny Whoops is a 1 or maybe even a little bit less than 1 gram weight penalty, and for that extra 1 gram, you get a lot of benefits. Better range, better image quality, 1080-60 DVR. It's insane. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Like, it shouldn't exist. It's wild that it exists. HDZero is more for racing. That's the other scenario where the Eco is amazing, is if you're into racing. Walksnail's not for racing because of the higher latency. So yeah, those are my thoughts on it. I would not run out and buy HDZero in order to get the Mobula 6 Eco. I would run out and buy Walksnail if you want to go down that road of a digital tiny whoop. I think that's about all I have to say about it, to be really honest. The Walksnail goggles are pretty impressive. They're also pretty heavy. So they're not, they're not the God goggles, I don't think. Although you could still maybe call them the God goggles because they support analog de-interlaced. Although we tested the de-interlaced versus interlaced on the stream, on our most recent stream, and there was practically no difference. I mean, like, sure, yeah, there was a little bit of a difference there, but nothing to write home about. So, yeah, there you go. There are my thoughts on the Mobula 6 Eco, HDZero Eco. Hater13 says, maybe 1002 plus heavier battery like 650 mAh or more on 75 millimeters would cancel itself out. It just starts to feel like incredibly heavy. I mean, that's kind of the next test that I was gonna do. I have this. So if you're gonna go 1002, you should also go to 45 millimeter props on the 75 Pro frame. I have flown this a little bit, not super in depth. I was gonna, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe this is the frame that I should be putting it in. No, because I do want to do there. I do have a yeah, no, we'll use this in the future, but yeah, I don't know. It starts to get really heavy. This is really the sweet spot that I've found. Yeah. Once you go up to the bigger motors, the bigger frame, the bigger props, the weight just goes bananas. And like if you're trying to fly jungle gyms, you got to keep it light because like the gaps in a jungle gym are pretty small. They're like almost the same size as the gaps that you're going to be trying to shoot in the house. So yeah, you don't want to go ballistic. If you're not going to jungle gym bash with it, and you're just going to throw it around like gigantic trees and shit outside, then yeah, sure. Go to a 1002, go to a Meteor 75 Pro frame. You're going to need all the help that you can get with flying a tiny whoop big, right? Like when you start flying around trees and stuff, I consider that like big flying. They're big ass objects and you've got a tiny little quad. And so yeah, like I said, you're going to need all the help you can get flying big with a tiny whoop. I don't suggest that you do that. If you're going to fly big like that, you should build a toothpick. That's really what those are for. Silent, safe, front of your house. And like the prop guards, when you start flying around big stuff like that, the prop guards don't do anything for you. Like yeah, I mean, I guess every once in a while you'll in some cases I find them to be worse because like you can put a stick into the duct and then that stalls the motor out and then there's not a whole hell of a lot you can do. Like that rig is going to be very stuck in a tree. God forbid it's a stick that's facing upwards and you crash down through the tree like this. That tiny whoop might never come out of that tree. So yeah, whereas a toothpick, it's just going to fall right down through the tree. It could still get stuck, but a lot less likely. So yeah, to me personally, this is where we should stop with tiny whoops. 75 as light as we can realistically make it. Bunch of KV 802s. But I am gonna screw around a little bit more with this one at some point here. Just not today. I want to get the 65 millimeter build put back together, especially with the 40,000 kV motors, because that's just kind of crazy. So yeah, and the other thing that's going to happen as you keep adding more and more weight to tiny whoops is you very quickly approach the durability limits of the frame. So like this 75 Pro frame loaded up with like 1002s and like a 650 mAh battery, the frame is probably not going to last very long. This setup here on the Mobula 7 V4 frame was relatively durable. This is now the Meteor 75 Air frame. I haven't really smashed this thing a good amount, but it just feels, and I can usually kind of tell, it feels like this is going to be a durable frame. So I have a feeling that this is going to be okay, but yeah, I need to get it. Now that the temperature is kind of coming up, I'll be able to realistically durability test this. When it was really cold out, flying a plastic frame, it's just gonna break. Like it's a foregone conclusion. TPU and plastic hate the cold, and they break really prematurely. So now that it's above 60 degrees outside, this thing can get a proper crash thrash test. So yeah, that's coming. Up Close FPV says, I got a Mobula 6 with 26,000 kV motors. Nice. One of them was vibrating out of the box. It wants to fly. I think I want to fly. Oh, it wants to fly to the moon. Okay. I tamed the tune and now it works. Is it safe to fly or should I wait for motors? It's probably safe to fly. Make sure that the propellers are pushed all the way down on the motor shafts. And then do this. Take it and go into turtle mode, or go into the motors tab and slowly spin each motor up. And see how bad that one motor is if you haven't already done it. Like if that one motor is like really, really bad. I mean, if you pull the tune down and it flies fine and the motors aren't getting like really hot, like it's unsafe when you arm it and it tries to fly away on its own. If you manage to get the PIDs down low enough to the point where it's not wanting to oscillate on its own, it's safe. Like that oscillation behavior is what cooks motors and ESCs. Because when it's oscillating like that, what's happening is the PID loop is speeding up and slowing down two motors, all four motors. It's spinning up two and breaking two down, and then it's reversing it. And that very quick oscillation is what's demanding all of this power. Once you've pulled the PIDs down where it's not doing that, and it's just pushing with all four motors, which you can hear, right? Like when it's oscillating like that, you can literally hear it. It makes that trilling, like kind of sound. Once you've slowed the PIDs down to the point where they're not trying to do that anymore, you've removed that crazy situation where it's asking for all this power because it's accelerating, braking. So it is then safe to fly. It's going to fly like crap, because the PIDs are so delayed that when the wind hits it, it's not going to attack that quick enough to prevent it from wobbling. But if you just want to fly it, yeah, you should be totally fine. You just want to be careful. You don't want to hear that oscillation like at any point. So a couple of the things that bring that behavior out are quick throttle pumps. So take it, hover it, and just whoop, 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 as quick as you can on the throttle. This is my left hand. So yeah, up and down on the throttle as quick as you can. When you go up on the throttle, it'll be fine. It's when you chop the throttle that you might hear it like oscillate a little bit, or it might even like, instead of dropping immediately, it might like, and you'll hear like an extra little blip of the throttle. That means the PIDs are still overactive. That means it's basically like on the edge, and that's slightly unsafe. And then the other situation is like when you put it into prop wash, or just at certain RPM values. There might be like one specific RPM value that it'll want to start to oscillate and fly away. So yeah, but as long as it's not doing that, as long as you're not getting any oscillations and hearing that trilling sound at any point, it's totally safe to fly, even with a bent motor. This is why custom tuning is important, because as you bang up your propellers and your motors, you can pull the tune down to make sure that it doesn't oscillate to the moon and cook the motors or the ESC. So up close, you did the right thing by pulling the PIDs down. Just do this last check to make sure that there's not one specific throttle opening. So to check if there's one amount of throttle, I say throttle opening because throttle body's open. Throttle value is what I meant to say, where it doesn't oscillate. So to check that, just go out and like hover it, and then slowly put the nose down. And as you slowly put the nose down, more and more thrust is going to go rearwards and less thrust is going to go downwards. So as you slowly do that with the pitch, you're going to have to match that with throttle. Otherwise, it'll crash into the ground. So if you just slowly pitch forward, no matter what, you're going to have to slowly increase the throttle and just keep going until you're full throttle, basically full throttle, and make sure there's not any weird oscillations in that process, and then you're good to go. Get out there and fly, my friend. You got 6 batteries in front of you. CMYK says, what's up, gangly gang? Bob Bruce, YouTube did the thing. Bob Bruce says, I have one with a heat sink and one without, and they both seem to perform pretty equally, but I've wanted to pull the heat sink off, but also don't want to ruin it. Well, I'm going to put this heat sink back on in a little bit here, Bob, and we'll see if this behavior changes. I bet you it doesn't. I have 3 of the 450 mAh batteries charged, so we'll be able to figure that out. Sock Eating Golden says hello. Northern Tier says updated Walksnail to 37.42.3, and that seemed to greatly improve stability since VRX or VTX shipped with mismatched firmware. By the way, red dots worked for me last build. Nice. Did you put the red dots on 1 and 4, Northern Tier? Limit said my Walksnail stuff is all on the same version, so it's not going to be a situation where this one is on a newer version that is stable and this other one that I'm having the issues with is not. I'm pretty sure that the one that I'm having issues with, the VTX, is just blown up in some weird way. There's some weird resistor on there or capacitor on there that has let go. But before I go ripping it all apart, yeah. Hendrix Freakazoid talking about the Mike Rowe show. I actually did watch it last night. That's old, yo. That's old. That's Brush Tiny Whoop days. That's like bullnose propeller racing days. That shit is super old. A lot of like TV show, a lot of TV shows will pop up on YouTube, because like weird like licensing stuff expires and whatnot. So I think that's what's going on there. But yeah, that's old school Jesse Perkins. Still really cool. Still cool stuff. Although Mike Rowe seemed like a real douche. And I don't. It's like, dude, you're sitting in a fucking chair flying tiny whoops. Relax. He's like, oh, I don't think I can do this. Like, put the fucking goggles back on. Jesus. Practice. Come on. My God, you're usually crawling around in fucking sewers. You're sitting in a field with the friendliest group of people you're ever gonna meet. Put the goggles back on and try again, you donkey. Limit says, I have a brand new Beta FPV Cross AAO. I'm planning on using it with TBS Nano VTX on 65 millimeters with 32 or 36,000 kV motors. Anything to change on filters or PIDs for those high kV motors? Maybe. It depends on a million different things. Build it, leave the PID stock, see how it flies. It'll tell you if the PIDs are too aggressive. You'll arm it. It'll try to fly to the moon, or you'll start to take it off and it'll oscillate to the moon. But yeah, you should be okay, and then you should actually be able to push the PIDs up a little bit. But don't do that yet. Just build it, see how it is, and away you shall go. Kevin Sumner says HDZero Eco VTX and camera module is $70. That's cheap for foot in the door and digital. It is indeed. Weight on the Eco kit is 4.5, slightly less than the old Whoop Light kit. Very cool. Still heavy. 4.5 grams is still a lot. It's not that bad though. 4.5 is not terrible. It's still, man, it's still gonna just hammer the, I don't know. I'd be very interested to see what that's like on a 36,000 or a 40,000 kV motor. That might just barely be light enough. It won't. It won't. Because the 1 gram, going from 18.5 grams to 17.7 between my Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoops and the Mobula 6 2024 was very noticeable, and it really felt great. And so now we're going in the opposite direction and adding 4.5 grams. God knows what canopy you're going to run with that camera. The canopy might be is probably going to be a little bit heavier than the normal canopies that we run. So yeah, I'm still for proper freestyle, I still don't see it. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But yeah, for like full tilt freestyle, which is just here's the problem. A 17 or an 18 gram tiny whoop inside the house with 28,000, 30,000, 32,000, 36,000 kV motors. It's the most fun thing like ever. It's just so magic. And when you get up over 20 grams, a lot of that magic is lost. A lot of like the instantaneousness and like just the unbelievable performance is kind of out the window. And they slide around a lot more like that, and they're so much harder to control. So yeah, there's just this like, I don't know. There's just this fairy dust on these 17 and 18 gram rigs that is going to go out the window. That does go out the window when you get over 20 grams dry. So yeah, I just don't know. But if you're already on HDZero, you should do it because it is very cool. It is very, very, very cool. Hater13 says Walksnail is more power hungry too. I can see that. Do you have actual like numbers for that, or is that just like it seems like it's more power hungry because it's got better signal strength, it's got better video quality? I guess we can look that up, right? By the how do we look that up? How do we look that up? Power. 1,000 milliamps. Is that what that means? Milliamps at 5 volt. Walksnail light. Here we go. VTX. I'm going to smash this mouse into 1,000 little pieces. Where's that spec on here? Come on. Don't you dare not have that spec. You're kidding. You're absolutely kidding me. Transmitter power? Is it hidden in here? No. Wow, look at that. You see the mouse? Just shit the bed. See, look at what I didn't release the mouse button. Wide power input. They do not have that spec in here. That's maddening. Maybe it's somewhere in here. 3.1 to 13 volts. No. All right, let's try a different website. Let's try Newbie Drone's website. Let's see here. Come on. No, this is the same. Really? I didn't let go of the mouse button there. Come on, man. Are you kidding me? That's like kind of an important... Okay. I would assume the same thing. And, you know, what else do you need? A guy on the internet assumes something? That's fucking gold. That's I can't imagine that it's not power hungry. Although I don't know. The Enzilla Terrible says hello. Joe Filmed says hello. YouTube just did the thing. CMYK says just noticed HDZero has the new Mobula 6 Eco for $150. Yep. Freelo Joe with the Patreon link. Hey, thank you. This is my full-time job. Believe it or not, CiottiFPV.com is how you support me. Patreon is the best way that you can do that. You can join Patreon for as little as $3 a month. That's 7.5 cents per hour of live streaming. We've been going for 47 minutes. That's like 6 cents. Isn't that worth it? No? There's an Etsy store where you can buy some fun stickers and random hardware. There's a Fiverr page where you can work one-on-one with me. There is a Teespring store where you can get fun shirts and a whole bunch of affiliate links. It's 2024, my friends. If you're not using affiliate links, you are hurting a content creator somewhere. Try to use affiliate links every time you order anything on the internet. It makes a huge difference when a bunch of people do it. It's free money. Doesn't affect you in any way. You just have to hit the affiliate link at some point before you check out, and that person's code goes into your cart. When you clear that cart out, you do lose that person's code, so you do have to hit it every single time. But yeah. Zero Taste, thank you so much. Walksnail draws 1.5 amps. I posted the manual in Discord. Very cool. Thank you, dude. So yeah, Walksnail uses 50% more power. Yeah, that seems about right. Morton Upshot says, well, yeah, it's more power hungry. It will make a 1-ounce board brown out if you use the BEC. Medi79 says, wait, no, let me make sure I'm caught up. Cool, there you go. There's how you guys support me. Medi79 says, just getting into Whoops, was looking at GNB 380 mAh 1S cells A30 for the Module 6 2024. But there is a 60C at 8 grams or a 90C at 10 grams. Which would be better, weight versus power? None of those batteries will work, so none of the above, Medi. What you want for anything 65 millimeter, which the Module 6 is. The 6 in Module 6 refers to 65 millimeters, which refers to the distance motor to motor. It does not refer to prop size. 65 millimeters is a 2.5-inch prop. These do not swing 2.5-inch props. These swing 1.2-inch propellers. So yeah, on all 65 millimeter rigs, and these are the ones that you're going to fly inside the house, the battery bay is skinny, and the only batteries that are going to fit in there are these skinny guys. The highest MAH that you can find in these skinny batteries is 350, but don't do that. There is only one battery that you should run on a 65 millimeter Tiny Whoop, and that is a folded cell battery. One of the dead giveaways is that the folded cell batteries are black. You can get them from a bunch of different manufacturers. They're all the exact same battery. This is one from Weebleed FPV. You can also get them from Tiny Whoop. The sticker has peeled off of this one, but this is a Tiny Whoop one. You can also get them from Tattoo. This is one from Tattoo. The sticker has peeled off. The Weebleed ones have the best stickers. They have a wraparound sticker that doesn't peel off and get all jammed up in your battery bay. It's a pretty insignificant reason to choose one over the other, but it's a reason, and they're the exact same battery, so it's the only reason to choose one over the other. What you should actually do is just whatever store you're ordering on, whichever one they have, get it. If they sell the Tattoos, get them. If they sell the Tiny Whoops, get them. If they sell the Weebleeds, get them. So Weebleed, Tattoo, TinyWhoop.com. There's also a quad gas version. There's a beta FPV version, and there's one more that I'm forgetting. They are all the exact same battery. What you're looking for is 300 mAh folded cell. They outperform every single other battery that's ever been made by a giant margin. Like, if every other battery is here, these folded cell batteries, I'm not even kidding, are all the way up here. And they all come with BT 2.0. It's, yeah, the quad gas says that it's a 320 mAh battery. It is not. The other company that I'm forgetting also calls it 320 mAh. It is not. It is a 300 mAh battery. Yeah, if you buy a one of these little skinny looking batteries that say that they're folded cell, that's all that matters. You're going to get the exact same battery as all of these. But if you're doing an order on Weebleed, snag a bunch. If you're doing an order on Tiny Whoop, snag a bunch. The Tattoos The tattoo branded ones are the ones that you'll see in most stores. Get FPV, Pyro Drone, and they're the same thing. So grab them. And right there, see, if that's why I feel okay saying, hey guys, join my Patreon. For $3 whole, you'll save yourself from buying $30 in 380 mAh batteries that wouldn't have fit. There you go. If you ever needed another reason to hop onto my Patreon, friends, yeah, good info will save you money, and I've kind of built a career around that, which is pretty cool, and I appreciate that from you guys. Zero Taste FPV says, no, we got that. PD Puff FPV says, just scored a used pair of Fat Shark HDOs. How much did you pay? If you don't mind. How is the avatar module if you don't mind the weight on the goggles? If you don't mind the weight, it's fine. The little modules hanging off the front work perfectly. The HDZero one, the Walksnail one, they are a seamless experience. It is just the weight and the location. Like, if you're going to add a bunch of weight, having it all the way in the front is kind of the worst spot to have it. But other than that, other than the comfort factor, the modules are actually brilliant because it allows you to have a set of it allows you to have analog goggles that when you fly analog are infinitely comfortable and lightweight and small and like low profile. And then when you want to run Walksnail or HDZero, you plop a module on, plug an HDMI cable in, and away you go. So I love the idea of these external modules. But I hate uncomfortable goggles. I'm very spoiled, in fairness, though, because I've been using OG Fat Shark goggles, which are the lightest weight and the most comfortable forever. So, like, I am the person that is going to be bothered the most by heavy goggles or by heavy or specifically front heavy goggles. You'll be bothered eventually too by them. Like, right off the bat, you might not notice it. But yeah, eventually you will absolutely notice it. So yeah, it might not bother you. Like, you might just notice it and it won't bother you, but you will absolutely notice it at some point. So yeah, there's that. The thing that you can do that really helps it is to crank the goggle strap really tight, because that's the problem is with the weight on the front, they try to come off your face like this, right? And so you can start to get like light leak on the top, and you'll just feel all of the weight will be right here. So if you pull the goggle strap really tight, it'll pull them back onto your face. I hate that. I hate having the goggle strap really tight. It's just like, so yeah, for me, it drives me mad. But for maybe every single one of you, that might not be as big of a deal, although it'll be somewhat of a deal. I've heard from more than one person that, like, yeah, they did it for a while and it drove them crazy. Who in the chat has absolutely no problem with the modules hanging off the front? Anybody? There's got to be somebody. Delta Foxtrot 6949 says, new Tiny Whoop, what's the benefit of flying 2-blade props versus 3-blade props? There's nothing really different in terms of propeller performance between Tiny Whoops and anything else. So the same discussion of tri versus bi-blade with 5-inch rigs, with 10-inch rigs, with 2.5-inch rigs is all still there. Bi-blades are going to give you more efficiency, a little bit less grip, in some cases less thrust, although with Tiny Whoops sometimes they give you the same thrust. It depends on what motor, what kV, and then well, you know, the one thing that is sort of different on a ducted rig versus a non-ducted rig with 3-blade versus 2-blade is that there's not the durability hit when you go to a 2-blade. On a regular quad, on a regular non-ducted quad, this will be fun. On a regular non-ducted quad, it's hard to even hold it like this. When you crash, when you inevitably crash, the two of the propeller blade, no matter how you crash, even if you crash like this, the propeller will rotate, and then the tri-bladedness of the propeller will protect the motor. This motor will not slam into the ground until you really bend the shit out of these two blades. So you got to hit really hard in order for the motor belt to smack into the ground. So a 3-bladed propeller, when you're not running guards, when there's no prop guard, is going to be more durable for your motors. It's going to save your motors. A bi-bladed propeller, right, like this, when you crash, it's going to rotate out of the way, and then the motor bell is going to hit the ground, and that's really hard on the motor bells. On a tiny whoop, though, you don't have to worry about that because the guard is going to take the hit. So yeah, there's no real durability difference between 2 and 3 blades. It's just all of the other performance differences that we've talked about with 2 blades versus 3 blades on every single other rig, right? 5-inch, 3-inch. So yeah, same kind of scenario there. Fork-tailed Devil says, how do you feel about the weight of the HDZero goggles? They're heavy as hell. They seem significantly heavier than the Fat Sharks. They are. They weigh almost twice as much as the Fat Sharks. Luckily, the faceplate here is taller, and that helps quite a bit. But yeah, they are significantly less comfortable. They're not so uncomfortable that they're not like wearable though. I think with a module on the front though, I might just give all the way up on them. But yeah, as they sit like this, I am noticing that when I fly, they drag my head down, which is something that I'm not used to. Like I've learned over the years to keep my head up, which is important for your antenna performance, right? Especially if you're going to run a patch antenna, you got to keep your head up so that patch antenna is pointed towards your quad. So yeah, I'm definitely finding myself looking down. But the other thing is, when I wear these, it's at the drift car place, and I have an HDMI cord in here. So I have the weight of the HDMI cord dangling down. I need to get a longer HDMI cord so that I can like run it up over my shoulder or something like that. So the extra weight of the cord is on my shoulder rather than on the goggles. But in flying these things on the live stream a couple of times now, yeah, I can feel the extra weight. It annoys me. It's not that bad. Like they are so I have the Newbie Drone foam on there, and it is comfortable. They're not. I wouldn't call them uncomfortable, but they are heavy. So yeah, take from that what you will. I don't know. I haven't spent that much time with them. I hope that I'll get used to them, and that when I wear the Fat Sharks, I'll be like, ooh. So yeah, maybe it's swinging with a weighted bat. Zero Taste says, check the Discord. You have to get different foam for them. Huge difference, especially the SkyZone 04X foam. Zero Taste also says there's a firmware someone on HDZero's Discord made that makes the goggles beep when you tilt your head too much forward. That's pretty cool. That is actually a really, really good idea. And then Troy Prulog says the Pyrodrone foam is the best he's tried for the HDZero goggles. I also have the Pyrodrone foam for the HDZero goggles. I haven't tried it yet, but I will. I'm kind of fine with the Newbie Drone foam, so I'm tempted to not take that off, but for science I will at some point. And just like that, we're caught up on chat. Let's dive in. So the first thing I want to do is reattach the Heatsink to see if that helps this situation any. So let me real quick fire up the Logitech software. Come on. Come on. Logitech G Hub, you can do it. You don't do anything right, but you need to at least launch. Okay, so yeah, this is going to be the easiest possible way to begin this troubleshoot here as to figuring out whether or not me removing this heat shield is what messed this thing up. So I think basically what I'm going to do is drop this heat shield on here, put some heat into this, and hopefully the leftover thermal paste here will glom. Oh my god, really? How is your software this bad? Good god, here we go. Okay. Fixing the focus. There it is. All right, all set. So, I'm just going to take this heat shield that I removed, and so there's a little hole in it. I'm looking at this one as a guide. So there's a little hole in it. I'm going to hold this guy. Okay, so the hole goes like that. All right, so that's where this heat shield is supposed to live. I mean, I guess first let me just push on it and see if it'll hold on. Nope. All right, so I need to put a little bit of heat into this. That's going to get a little bit weird. What is this? What is this mark here? Hold on. There's a mark on this. Oh, God. What the fuck is that? What the hell is that? There's a very strange mark on the corner of this chip here. Let me see if that's... Is that like a little bit of solder? What the hell is that? Oh, I don't know what that is. That's like... It's kind of like indented into it. It's on the corner here. Well, that can't be good. I mean, I don't know what it is, but it can't be making it work better. I guess that could be what happened here. Did that happen from this thing? Did a component like smack into this, I wonder? Hold on, let me see here. I just gotta get this antenna back in the right spot. Come on. Okay, there's that antenna. So if that was a component smacking into it, it would be a component in the middle of the board here. Nah, dude, no way. There's a shitload of space here. There's absolutely no way. There's absolutely no way. Okay, well, that makes me feel a little bit better. I'm pretty sure that that's causing the issue with this thing. But I'm still going to investigate this a little bit more here. So let's get this camera off. I'm gonna have to go into the garage real quick to put. I'm gonna use the heat gun. I could just use my little janky torch thing, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to put too much heat into this and fuck it up. Although it is kind of already effed up. Jesus. But I'll do it the right way. I'll use the heat gun. All right, so hang on. Let me give you something to watch while I go do this real quick. The heat gun heats up pretty damn quick. Okay, so yeah, the little dot, I just want to get this in the right spot. All right, so the little dot goes in that direction. And cool. I can clamp on this pretty good. And that'll stick this thing back down, I think. Yeah, okay. That thermal paste needs to get a little warmed up. Okay, so let me go do that real quick. Let me give you something to watch here. It shouldn't take all that long. Like I said, the heat gun fires up really, really quickly. Wait, no, I can do it here. Hold on, I can do it here. Let me just go grab the heat gun. I can do it on the bench. This will be fine. This will be interesting. I've been kind of meaning to... Oh, wait, do I not have a... I might not have an extra plug. Hold on, let me look. Let me look and see if I have an extra plug down here under the desk. I do. All right, hold on. Real quick. I can just grab it. Okay. All right, let's try this. Look, I have a Weller heat gun. I'm a Weller fan. I'm a Weller fanboy. Morton Upshot says, the purple GNB 380 mAh 60C cells will fit the Mobula 6. If you're just getting started, you won't notice the performance compared to the cells that CiottiFPV recommends. I don't know about that. I didn't realize that there was a 380 mAh skinny battery. That's interesting. Yeah, personally, I think everybody will notice the difference between the folded cells and the rolled cells. At 300 mAh, that battery is also going to be heavy. So you're going to have a heavy underperforming battery. So if there's any possible way for you to not get those batteries and to get the folded cells, that's going to be a massive improvement in all the things. But if for some reason, like, you already have those 380s, as long as they have a higher C rating is always better. There's really no reason to get a low C rating battery other than maybe, I guess, if you're doing like a long range build. But yeah, high C rating is always better. And then, or I guess if you're trying to save money. But yeah, if there's any possibility of you getting folded cell, I would do it. It's a big difference. All right, here we go. Let's get this plugged in. Okay. Ow! Fucker. All right, here we go. Heat gun life. There's one setting for heat and one setting for no heat. Let me figure out which one's which. I think this is the no heat setting. And I think, yeah, oh yeah, that's instantaneous. Okay, so let me get this set up so that I don't melt anything. And we'll see how this goes. All right, so that heatsink, I can't believe I'm putting this heatsink back onto this. This seems absolutely ridiculous, but sometimes you got to go backwards to go forwards. All right, I'm going to use the old OmniFixo. Get out of here. There we go. All right, so I'm going to hold this, I think, like this. Okay, I'm going to try to like manage the direction of the airflow. Oopsie. To not get this stuff hot. So I'm going to try to shoot the air up over it like this, so that the OmniFixo in the back of my desk gets hot, but this stuff all doesn't, because like there's some plastic down here and whatnot. All right. So there we go. Let's do it. Let's just go for it. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. 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 All right. Oh boy. This feels sketchy. I'm keeping an eye on this rubber grommet up here to make sure it doesn't start melting. All right, that's a little bit of heat. Let's, I hate to do this, but, all right, it's not that hot. It's not hot at all. Okay, I can hit it way harder than that. All right. Let's try that. How hot are you, little buddy? Oh, now it's got some heat. Oh, yeah, now it's got some heat in it. Woo! Okay, I'm going to be quick. Let's see. Is that stuck? Or is it going to fall and burn me? Hey! Oh! Ah! All right. We need to do more. I'm going to have to get it hot, man. That fell right off of there. All right, here we go. Round 13. Round 3. How hot do we need to get it? This seems so counterproductive, but I don't know. Maybe I'm really curious if this will fix it. I know that it won't, but hello, small dog and small child. Look at this. Look at this scene. Take a couple steps back. Yeah. There you go. There you go. What's the dog gonna do? Is he gonna freak out? How much longer does the dog have before he completely loses his mind? What do you think, Azalea? 10 more seconds?
Maybe. Until
total chaos? He's actually being really good right now. Look at him holding on. I'm gonna bite this dog's face off one of these nights. There it is. It's chaos time. Here he goes. Teddy Spaghetti. Just relax, my guy. Just relax. Your ear is backwards. We can't have that. Thanks for bringing the dog on stream. Thanks for bringing the dog on stream, Azalea. Oh, there he goes. He just went bananas. Oh, what was that? Oh, I thought it was the dog. I turned the camera off of that one. We're onto the bench cam now. What do you think of that?
Dude.
What? It stinks? Did you fart?
No. Teddy.
Is he having butt problems again?
Yes.
Oh, God, this dog. He's got anal gland issues. They're leaky as shit. It's horrifying. I really hope I don't melt that rubber grommet. This is a stress test. This is a heat test. What will melt first? I also don't love that the OmniFixo is kind of like pinching down on these components while I get this hot. But whatever, this VTX is kind of already broken. So if it breaks all the way, it breaks all the way. That's a lot of heat. That's way more than last time. I'm going to get burned for sure. What do I have that I can push down on this with? Metal? Yeah, that's it. Metal. Oh, God, everything's hot. Woo! Whoa! Everything hot. Oh, God, yeah, everything's hot. Woo! This is tough. I need to get pushed down on it, though. Ooh! Yo, this VTX is boiling hot right now. Oh, God, hopefully that's enough. Ooh! Everything's so hot! Oh! Ooh! Ooh! Ooh!
Why are you touching it?
Oh, it just moved. Oh! This doesn't work. I guess maybe you can't reheat this thermal paste. Is that a thing? Is thermal paste like single heat only?
Okay, bye-bye.
Chad. Thanks for hanging, Azalea. You're the best, as always. Thanks for jamming with me last night, too. That was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. This ain't gonna... you know what I can do? I can use a piece of heat transfer tape. Let me give this a second to cool off. Damn, I was really hoping that would work. Heat transfer tape is not gonna work. Is it? I mean... Oh, I don't know. Damn it. I was like weirdly sure that would work. That got really hot. It got really, really hot just now. Morton Upshot says, did you have the heat sink facing downwards towards the flight controller? Can you flip it over to face away? It's not flat. The chip that it's heat sinking kind of does this, and then the heat sink follows that follows that curve. So yeah, if I put the heatsink on upside down, it would be like right now it sits like this. If I put it upside down, it would be like that. And yeah, so I wouldn't want to do that. Sure, it's not thermal paste like on a CPU, no heat required, raw dog it. Now I tried that at first and it just fell right off, just like it is now. Troy Pulug says once dry, it's hard to reuse thermal paste. Okay, so that makes sense. And it is, yeah, it is dry because it's not getting all over my fingies. It's not totally dry. It just got on my fingy. Shit. I'm very tempted to try using heat tape. But this whole thing, it's not going to work. It's bad to get on your fingy. Why is it? Is it like toxic? I just wiped it on my pants. Is that okay? It just gets, my experience with it is it just gets everywhere. Hey! Oh, it's toxic. Oh, perfect. I'll rub it on my mailbag. Lee from overseas tried to order some Tiny Whoop, some stuff from Tiny Whoop, and then customs like completely screwed him. So he just gave them my address and had them redivert it to me, and he said, "Hey, here's my contribution to your thing." Very cool of you. Much appreciated. 2 sets of fireflies and 2 white cockroach frames. I'm very tempted. I wish I could figure out, I don't know. I'm going to talk to him a little bit more to see if there's any way that I can now redirect this back to him in a way that makes sense. But I think it's like where he lives. But, Lee, thank you so much. Very cool for you to do this. And, of course, a whole bunch of really fun Tiny Whoop stickers. As always. Drone Museum, Dayton, Ohio. TWO2. High wind area magnet. This is going to go on my car. And Tiny Whoop motor oil. Shit, man. I thought for sure I'd be able to get that, heat sink back on there. There's a big dig here. Look at this big mark in the, I don't know, what is that, like the main processor? I don't know, computer things. See that in the corner there? That doesn't look good, right? This thing's not going to want to focus all that close. Ooh! I know what I can do. Check this shit out. Look how fancy the new Mac operating system is. I can go here, and I can plug my phone in, and then my phone will pop up as a iPhone. I have to add the source. Okay, and then now my phone will pop up as a source. Look at that, yo. And now on my phone, I can use this little... Well, first of all, I bet you the phone will just do a better job at focusing really closely. Nope. Not good enough. But I have this little thing with a little macro lens on it that works shockingly well. Like, this stupid little thing works unbelievably well, as you're about to see. I just got to get it kind of centered on there. And now watch this, yo. Watch this. Bang! Look at that! That ain't good! You think that's the problem? Well, there's your problem! Look at it. Look at it. I mean, with electronics, it's sometimes hard for me to envision them. Like, electronics typically either work or they don't. So, like, I don't know. This seems to me like it might just look bad, but not accomplish anything. But, I mean, it's certainly not making it perform better. Right? Isn't that weird? What the fuck happened? Stop trying to focus, phone. Isn't that ugly? Look at that old ass thermal paste on there. Yeah, what's that about? Oh! 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 That's a lot. That's a lot to ask from people. Hold on. Let me get this iPhone. Oh, shit. Just did a thing. Oh, I see what's happening. This mouse is double clicking when I'm not asking it to. Stop it, mouse! What? Stop! There we go. Okay. Oh, boy. Still all bad. There it is. Look how good this camera looks, though. The iPhone camera is extraordinarily good. Is this full-sized? Oh, shit. Can I please just... Oh, man, this mouse is really effing up. Yeah, no, that's full-size. What happens if I turn it sideways? Hey! It goes to landscape. Look at this fancy shit. It's my phone, yo! Look at how good this looks. Good God, I'm just going to stream from the phone from now on. What's up, OmniFixo? How are you? New mouse fund. Thank you, Stephen Woodruff, for the $2 super chat. Much appreciated. Look how good this looks. Here's a look under the carpet, my friends. All right, enough. Enough of that. Oh, it. No. It's doing it wirelessly. Look, I just unplugged it. What? I did not know that. I did not know it would do that. What? It says connected to Aaron's Mac Mini. You can disconnect. Wow. That is wild. Oh my God. Okay. So, yeah. Dude. I mean, this computer's been pissing me off lately, but this is pretty cool. What if I hit pause? No, I'm going to hit disconnect. How do I reconnect it, though? Okay, now it pops back to that camera. Cool. Wow, okay. Technology, man. What a time to be alive. Wait, no, I'm going to leave this out. Perfect. CMYK says Magic Mouse is trash. It is indeed. I tried using a Magic Mouse for a little while, and it was just a fucking nightmare. Really cool idea, but the shape of it is just awful. Matt Norton says, try heating both separately, then stick together while they're both warm. I've done that with other things, but it doesn't always work. Balls. Try dissolving it with some ISO. Morton Upshot says, I meant to flip the Walksnail board upside down to give it more exposure to the airflow, not to heat sink the entire board. Yeah, I mean, it got hot. The whole board was like stupid hot. I'm pretty sure it's not going to work. The board was like, yeah, burning. I don't think it's a heat issue. I think it just doesn't want to go back together. CMYK, we got that. Zero Taste says, get the Logitech MX Master 3, best mouse I've ever had. My problem with mice is that they have to be white. I'm a strange person. This Razer mouse is perfect, but it's not all that durable. The first thing to die is the scroll wheel. The scroll wheel starts acting up. This is actually the second one that I've had. And yeah, the scroll wheel starts acting up, but now it appears that when the scroll wheel starts acting up, I get frustrated and I start to smash the mouse on the desk. And now that's caused other things to let go. So I will buy one more of these mice from Amazon and switch this one in and return it. And then that'll be it. I will not go into a fourth one, but maybe these two in a row just happen to be bad. No, they aren't. Some guy says, Caddx has a great repair service. Maybe just send it in. Do they really? Shit. Okay, I was going to throw it in a goddamn river. No, I'll totally send it in because they're expensive, like $80. Zero Taste says there's a white version. All right, if there's a white version, I'll look at it. Let's see. How much is it? $100. Oh, you fucks. Look at that weird thing. Ugh. Why does it look like that? I don't like it. It's wireless. I hate wireless mice. I hate wireless mice. They get all heavy and shit. Is it heavy? Ooh, Reddit says that there's a clone for $15. Why does it have to look like that and be wireless? You bastards. Why would you do that? Oh, look how ugly it is. What is this? What? Stop it. What is, ew, no, don't do that. No, ew, bitch. I'm going to try this Razer mouse again. I'm going to try one more of these Razer mice. Why they got to make ugly mice? Why do you have to make something ugly? Logitech. Buying mice based on the way they look. Ooh, boy, is that a terrible idea. But I digress. You can use it wired, yeah, but then you have a thing hanging off the front. Ooh, ooh, ew, ew. CMYK says that mouse is incredible. They'll knock it until you try it. Function over form. Yeah, I know. It's too ugly though. Sorry. In some ways, I can be a very shallow bastard. It is 4:29. I don't know what we're doing here. I'm gonna show you how to remove the heatsink on one of these Walksnail VTXs, and then I'm gonna swap the VTX here, and I'm gonna send this one in for repair. That's what we're gonna do here. We're gonna start on the 40,000 kV 65mm Freestyle Walksnail build. I didn't say that in the stream description that I was gonna do the whole build, and this is a part of what we need to do here. This heatsink has to come off. So I'm gonna potentially now ruin another perfectly good Walksnail VTX. Let me give it to you on this camera here, and I'm gonna put this off to the side. Okay. All right, friends. Here's how you remove one of these heat sinks. You need a heat gun. You got to get it hot. And then when you get it hot, you pry it off. That's it. That's all you have to do. So bring your little heat gun in here. And make sure you have a flathead screwdriver at the ready, which I do not. But I'm getting right now. And you just want to be gentle. There's hold on. There's a little bit of a lip on here. There's like a lip on the bottom here, and you can kind of put your little flathead in there. Well, on the other one I could. This one's kind of fighting me a little bit. Is the lip here? No. Well, okay. Maybe you'll need something a little bit thinner. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, that feels like there's a nice little lip there. I can maybe pry it up from this corner here. I don't want to do it from these other corners because there's chips too close. This corner is an option, but I'm not getting much upward force there. Let's try something nice and sharp here. Let's try this little guy. This whole side of the board, there's no other chips that you can like disturb. So yeah, this might be the move here. Wedge this underneath. Yeah. This is going to be the move down here. Okay, so that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it with this little guy. So I'm going to have him ready here, and let's put some heat into it. And now I'm going to try a couple times. Like, I'm going to put the least amount of heat that I possibly can, and then I'm going to try to pry it. So I'm going to stop about there, and now I'll try to pry it, and then we'll come back if I need to. So let's just try this. Yeah, feels like it's still kind of hanging on there. Come to this side though. I remember last time when I got it, it was just like once you broke the seal, it was fine, and it just kind of popped right up and off, and it was all set. But I think I need to get it a little bit warmer here. The key with this is just going to be to be super gentle. Don't push forward on this thing either, or you'll cut yourself. Okay, now, yeah, let's put a little bit more heat into it. Get a little bit warmer. Wild CZ says, is the gram saved noticeable? Absolutely it is. Saving a full gram is a really big deal on a Tiny Whoop. Think of it this way. Tiny Whoops only weigh like 20 grams. So when you remove 1 gram, you've removed 5% weight savings. Blow that 5% up to a 5-inch rig, and it's like saving like 40 or 30 some odd grams there. It's a big, it really does make a difference. Oh yeah, now we got some more heat into it for sure. I can feel it. All right, just being as gentle as I can here. It's kind of fighting me. Whoo, boy, this gets hot quick, yo. All right, hold on. I'm gonna stand it up like this so I can push down. I'm super nervous cutting towards myself. Don't let that battery. Oh, they can't hear me. God damn it. Somebody's about to let the battery die on the shop vac, and when it does, it locks the shop vac up all weird. Ooh, this does not want to come off. Okay, come on. Come up and off. Come over there. Come on. Can I maybe sneak the flathead under here now? I've been prying up on it a little bit. Nah, it's still too sharp. All right, let's get some more heat into it. Thought this would be a lot easier than this. The other one was not too bad. Is there a better way of doing this? Anybody know a better way of doing this? I'm being super gentle. I mean, as gentle as I can. I think the best bet is just to buy the light version of the VTX where they've not put this on. But I've heard of plenty of people doing this. So I know it's not, I know I'm not like doing something completely insane. Ow, it's hot. Okay. Oh yeah, it's gonna come up and off. I can feel it. Yeah, get off of there. Come on. Get up off of there. Ouchie. Oh, it's hot now. If it wasn't hot before, it is warm now. It was hot before, though. Come on! Owie! Get up! Get off! Get out of there! I think the dog thinks I'm yelling at him. Oh my god. This one will not let go. Ooh. Shit. Am I missing something? Is there a better way of doing this? The other one was not... Chris FV says use some ISO. Fishing wire? What? Some guy FPV says, are you running the VTX at the 500 milliwatt setting? Nope, 25 milliwatts. I have changed the output power, though, and it hasn't really affected anything. I'm not pushing hard on the X-Acto knife, so I'm not worried about cutting myself. I'm super sketched out whenever I push any blade towards myself. So yeah, if you ever see me doing it, I'm using like no pressure because I don't have health insurance and I'm not playing that goddamn game. Okay, so I have left a little divot. I think the problem is I'm just not pushing hard on it because I'm super sketched out. So what I'm gonna do, and I'm not leaving any marks on the actual chip part. I'm just digging into the the little heat shields here. So I'm gonna try. I should have a little Phillips head screw. I think the problem is I'm just not putting quite enough lifting force on it with this. So hold on. I should have a little machinist's flathead screwdriver in here with a blade on it that's a little bit skinnier, that will lift up on this much better. Yep, there it is. Okay, cool. So this screwdriver, I bet you if I get it under this corner, no, not quite. Not quite there yet. I'm going to keep going slowly, though. Yeah, no. I'm kind of leaving a little groove in the heat sink, though. That's kind of what I'm trying to do. Just remove a little bit of material at a time from the bottom. And then that'll let the screwdriver get under there to lift up on it. Know what I'm saying? Okay, that should be it. I can kind of feel it and see it taking a little bit of that. Yeah, now the screwdriver is getting a little lift on it. Yeah. There we go. All right, so... Yep. Okay, cool. All right, so let's get it hot one last time, and I think we'll be okay. Because I've got a little groove to dig into up there now. All right, so here we go. All right. All right, let's try that. Okay. Come on, man. Come up. Come up off of there. It's hot. It's hot for sure. Ah! Ah! Come on. Please! Release, heatsink, release! I'm definitely getting some upward force on it, but it's like it's got the paste all the way around the outside. And so it's like you gotta getting a little bit more forceful with it now. But I'm erroring in favor of being super gentle. But I'm gradually being less gentle. Oh man, this sucks, yo. I do not love doing this. I'm taking a look at it with the 5X loop. Yeah, I can see that the side that I'm working on is starting to lift up a little bit. Okay, let me do a little bit of this. Let me get this in here and just wiggle it around a little bit. That, of course, being what she said. And let me just make sure that I'm not touching any of these components that are right next to it. Nah, we good. Woo! This sucks, dude. The other one was way easier. way, 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 way easier. But I was probably more forceful with the other one, which might be why it's broken. Okay. All right. So, yeah, I'm able to get a good amount of like upward force on that. Which is really what I'm trying for here. I just want to be able to lift it up and off. All right. One more time. Another Ciotti Rage stream. Not yet. Not yet. I haven't gotten angry yet. Soon, though. Soon. All right. I'm trying to not put that much heat into it. But you got to put some heat into it for this. Woo! For this to for the thermal paste to kind of like loosen up. Come on, buddy. I'm putting more like side load force onto it than like lifting, and it's never gonna break free scooching it sideways. I have to be able to lift it up. But it just seems so sketchy to... I wish there was a little bit... I think on the other one, there was the heat sink was a little bit bigger, and there was more of a lip to pry up on it. This heat sink is like smaller, and it's... And yeah, it's... I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this. This is starting to feel a little hopeless without hurting it. I just keep checking it to make sure I'm not like digging into the chip that's below it, and I'm not, but yeah, this heat sink is smaller than the other one. That's shit. I'm considering bailing on this. Because, you know, this is an $80 VTX that I may have already ruined. Like, this is just really fighting me, and like I can't just dump more heat into it because the heat's gonna move all around and do other bad things. And it's like almost impossible to get in here and pry on this. Yeah, like I don't want to start pushing really hard on it. Hold on. Let me do something off camera real quick here with a little bit of magnification in my eyeball. This is when I ruin it. Ready? No, this is when I don't ruin it because I can actually see what the hell I'm doing. Okay, so I got the 5x loop in my eyeball, so now I can actually see. Oh, it's lifting up a little bit. Oh, we got this. Hold on. We got this. Oh my god, now that I can see what I'm doing, that makes all the difference. Yeah, okay. Now we got this. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, alright, so wear a 5x loop when you do this, and then you'll actually be able to see what you're doing. You can look right under the corner, and you can see the little gap to make sure that you're not digging your X-Acto knife blade into the like actual chip that this heat sink is on. Yeah, this is super helpful. Oh yeah, this is the move. Yeah, so take your take a proper one, get your finger here so you can kind of support it, and then just get your little 5x loop on, and just hold it like this, and you can just see the blade go under the heatsink, and then get it in the right spot, and then you can just kind of angle it. And what you're doing is you're removing a little bit of metal from the corner of the heatsink so that you can create a little groove that you can get a skinny screwdriver in. Or, I mean, might be able to just pry it up with this. But this is going to be hard to do once it's hot. Yeah, it's definitely coming up in this corner. So we've made big progress. Yeah, now I can see it coming up a little bit. Ooh, that was scary. That was very scary. Yeah, all right. Yeah. Okay, I put a much bigger lip on it. And I think I just screwed it up by digging under there with the screwdriver. Nah, we still got a little lip going. All right, I'm gonna heat it up one last time, I think, and then I'll try to get under there with the screwdriver. Whoo! CMY cases, finger condoms. Yeah. Brandon Baked Bean says, take a poll in the chat what to do. Nope, I'm just gonna keep doing this. All right, one last time. I can't pry while heating. I don't have enough. I don't have enough hands or fingers to do that. And also, the board gets really, really hot, and I can't like hold it. All right, so there's some heat. This is going to be the best amount of grip that I've gotten from the screwdriver. Let's give it one last college try. Ouch. Come on. Ah! Ooh, I can see it moving. Ooh, it hurts. It hurts. Come on, get off. Get up. Ah! Ooh, ooh, ooh. If I hold it down like this, hold the board down like that. Under there. Come on, pry, you bastard, pry. Come on, lift, 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 lift. Ah! I can lift it better with this for sure. Come on, get up off of there. Get up off of there. Oh my god, I can see it moving. It's just, they use so much adhesive. Oh yeah, I'm really under there now. I'm also trying to not break the X-Acto blades. Oh, we're under. Ah, come on. Now's when I'm going to stab myself with the screwdriver. Ready? I do not recommend doing this. Holy Christ, this is a nightmare. I mean, I'm already in it. It's coming. There it goes. Ah, there we go. Hey! Okay. Whoo! My goodness. Well, we got it off. and I didn't, there's no, first of all, there's no big ugly mark on it like the other one. Yeah. I did remove, all right, yeah, I did scratch this a little bit here on this corner. I don't love that. Let me take a quick look with the 5X loop. Yeah, I mean, that's not great what I did there. But I don't know, maybe it's okay. Don't do this. Do not remove these heat sinks. If you have one of these Walksnail VTXs, sell it with the heatsink on it. Leave the heatsink, sell it, and buy one of the ones that has never had the heatsink put onto it. I've weighed it before. I think it's 1.2 grams. Let's take a look. I'll weigh both of them because the one seems like it's bigger than the other. The slightly bigger one that was way, way, way easier to remove. Do this if you're thinking about doing this, right? Take the VTX, and there's one corner of the VTX where the chip is the last thing, right? So over here, this is the safe corner. So take your VTX and take your fingernail over on this side here, and just see if you can get your fingernail underneath the heat sink. On the first one that I did, I was able to, and it was no big deal. Wow, it's heavier than I thought. 1.6 grams. Jesus. The bigger one that was way easier to remove was 1.6 grams. This slightly smaller one that was a fucking nightmare to remove is 1.52 grams. Yeah, so they did change it slightly. 1.52. They did not change it. 1.53. Wait, no. 1.56. There we go. The scale finally settled. So yeah, if you cannot get your fingernail under the side of the heatsink, don't do it. This was bad. I would not be surprised if I ruined this VTX. I got it hot, what, 5 times, 6 times? That's bad. And it was pretty hot. It wasn't like, it was burn my fingers ish hot. I don't know. There's varying levels of hotness, as we all know. Whoo! Damn. Yeah, that got hot. AJ Farah says, did you try dental floss? I didn't. I was so hell-bent on doing it this way. I was also getting it hot enough where I think dental floss would have like melted or something. I don't know. It's whatever. It's done. Don't do this though, is my suggestion. It's too expensive of a VTX to be farting around. And look, like, there might be something weird. I mean, hopefully we'll figure it out, but there might be some different firmware thing with the light versus the non-light. And Walksnail's pretty popular, so if you have one of these VTXs with the heat shields on it, you can probably sell it. So yeah, don't do what I just did. That sucked. I'm gonna change the title of this stream. No. Well, this is the beginning of the 40,000 kV Walksnail 65mm build. I have to like cut these wires to the right length. There's just no way that I'm gonna make any significant progress here. Other than like screwing the motors down to the frame, which is about the least interesting thing ever. Yeah, no. This is hang on. Let me just take a quick look. Now, it looks like these wires will be long enough, so that's fucking great. I love that. The main reason that I won't make any progress here is that you have to be really, really specific with these wire runs to get them nice and short so that they'll clear in between the two boards without like rubbing into the flight controller where the gyro is. And I really like to take my time on that and not like kind of rush through it. You're also trying to save weight, right? You've got 4 30 gauge cables here. So I'm either going to do this off stream or on the next stream, probably off stream. Yeah, so what I found is running the wires like that, little 90-degree angle there, and then you fold them under the board like that, and then you're going to figure out which direction you're orienting this stuff I've already kind of figured it out because I've done a bunch of these builds. And then you can cut these wires absolutely as short as possible. You want to make sure that when you do this little fold over, you miss this. This is the port for the MIPI cable. You don't want to overlap that because then it's going to be too tall. You need to run these wires right next to this MIPI cable port so that they'll sit super flat, and so that they make this angle super flat. And then they're basically going to come up here. And the way that I orient these, the leads that it's all going to get, that they're going to get soldered up to, are all right here. So these wires don't need to be much longer than this. These are going to get cut down pretty short here. But yeah, it takes some time, and I really like to just get it absolutely perfect. There's a little mark. There's like a little... You won't be able to see it, but there's a little like mark on my finger from where the edge of the board. There was one point where I thought I was going to get it that I just kept pushing down on the corner of the board. It started to really hurt, and I can see where the where the board was on my finger. Scuffed FPV says, "What batteries will you be using?" CMYK is correct. 300 mAh folded cell 1S. On all of these 65mm rigs, there's only one battery to use. It's the folded cell 300 mAh BT 2.0. These outperform every single other battery by a huge margin. You can get these batteries from Weebleed, Tiny Whoop, Tattoo, Quad Gas, Beta FPV, and there's one more that I always forget. They are the exact same battery. Quad Gas and the other company that I can't remember call it a 320 mAh battery. They're full of shit. It's a 300 mAh cell. Gen's Ace makes it. There's only one. They're all the same battery. Folded cell, black, BT 2.0. That is the only battery to run on a 65mm Tiny Whoop. If you're running any other battery, you're going to have a significant performance decrease. Wake and Bake says CNHL Speedy Beat. Nope, that's a rolled cell battery. You're going to get shit performance compared to folded cell. Big difference. Steve Jobs with the last comment of the live stream. He says, "What do you think of 1408 motors? Can you recommend a durable one?" They are a bad motor that you should stay as far away from as possible, and they will never be durable because of how high they are. The main problem with a 1408 motor, though, is the stator size and the ratio of stator width to stator height. If you look at like 5-inch motors, you'll find 2306s and 2207s are the motor sizing that is just the best. The reason why we refer back to 5-inch a lot is that they've had more of an R&D cycle than every other propeller size combined, right? There have been tens of thousands of pilots flying 5-inch rigs for over 10 years. And with that amount of like an R&D cycle, right? People doing it, seeing how it flies, trying different things. We've been able to figure a lot of things out. And one of the things that we've been able to figure out is the ratio, and Chris Rosser talks about this, is the ratio of motor width to motor height. And when you look at a 2306, you've got 6 millimeters wide, 23 tall. So 6, 12, 18, 24, close enough. Basically 4 width to 1. Right? So think about it. It sometimes makes it easier if you just keep it there, 1 to 4. So 1 millimeter, if the smallest motor possible, let's say 1 millimeter tall, 4 wide, 1, 4, double that, 2, 8, 802, great motor. Add another, don't double it, but add another one. So 1 millimeter, 1 by 4, 2 by 8, 3 by 12. 4 by 16, 5 by 20, 6 by 24, 2306, right? So 1/4 is a great ratio. 2207s, 7 wide, 22 tall, 7, 14, 21, not quite 4 to 1, 3 to 1, right? So, and what we find is that 2306 motors make a little bit less power, but they're a little bit more consistent. And my theory, nobody's really like totally proven this because I don't know how you would, but my theory is With a 4-to-1 ratio, you've got more motor width for the airflow to cool down, and a cooler motor will always be more consistent. Magnets lose power when they get hot. So 2306 is a wider motor. Wider motors don't necessarily make more power. The vertical measurement is what makes power. The way that the stator poles work, the vertical part of the stator is what pulls the magnet over. So making a motor wider does increase the power, but not as much as making a motor taller. And we see this with 2306s versus 2207s. Yes, 2207 has more stator volume, and that does make power. But the thing that's making more power, the thing that's contributing to the extra power more on the 2207 is that it has more stator height, 7 millimeters high versus 6 millimeters high. And so a 2207 makes more power than a 2306. It's also heavier because it has more stator volume, but it's the height that's contributing to that increase in power just as much as the extra stator volume. But a 2207 is a ratio of 3-to-1. Every 3 millimeters wide, it's 1 millimeter tall. And that's still okay. 3-to-1 is a motor that's still going to cool itself down enough where it's going to be okay. 1408, on the other hand, is less than 2-to-1 width to height, right? If it were 2-to-1, it would be 1407, 714. It's not. It's 8, double 8, and that's 16. So if it were a 1608, it would have a 2-to-1 ratio, and that would still probably run too hot, but it's not. It's a 1408. So it's like even worse. So what you find with 1408 motors is when you go full throttle, you get like a split second of full power, and then the motor just saturates with heat. And you can literally hear it. You go full throttle and it goes, whee! And it just dumps because the motor is overheating. It's also completely hammering the shit out of your batteries. So like you will just ruin all of your batteries. You'll see it in the you'll see it in your OSD. Like you'll go full throttle and you'll just watch the battery sag down to like 2.6, 2.5 volts damn near instantly. And it just ruins all your batteries. So yeah, 1408s, 1507s, these are motor sizes that ruin batteries, ruin flight performance. And yeah, it's not a good size of motor. It was a size of motor that was really popular like 3, 4, 5 years ago, because it was like the first micro motor that could actually make a bunch of power. But the problem is that, yeah, they just overheat and it only makes that power for like a split second. And you have a motor that's super inconsistent, right? Like after you've heat soaked the motor, like if you go full throttle, you're going to heat soak the motor damn near instantly. And then if you come off the throttle and then for some reason you have to go back to full throttle, you're not going to get the same amount of power that you expect. So you end up with a motor that's like very confusing. Like every time you go full throttle, you get a different amount of power judging by how hot it's gotten from how you've been flying it, right? So you need a much wider motor than, I mean, you can just look at it, right? Just look at the motor sizes and do the math. You want, bare minimum, you want 3 millimeters of width for every 1 millimeter of height. If you're building a more Cinewhoop-ish rig, you want to push that to 4-to-1 or even 5-to-1. Look at all the popular Cinewhoop motors, right? 2004, 2104, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. 5-to-1 with a 2004, right? So always just look at the motor sizing and shoot for something that's minimum 3-to-1, and then think about what you want. Do you want something that is as freestyly as possible where you have the potential to overheat the motor, or do you want something that's going to stay cool all the time and you're going to have a super consistent motor? If that's what you want to be 4-to-1, maybe even 5-to-1. Typically, though, you only need to go to 5-to-1 if you're picking up a heavy payload, like with a Cinewhoop, that with a 3-inch prop is carrying a heavy-ass GoPro Hero 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 5-inch Freestyle rigs were designed to carry 120, 130 gram payload. They use a big-ass motor and a big-ass propeller. A Cinewhoop, we're shrinking things down to keep the weight down as low as possible, and so we sacrifice a little bit. So because of that, because it doesn't have that great big propeller, that great big motor, you need to pick a motor that's a little bit wider so it's going to stay cold. So it's going to stay cold while it's picking up that really heavy weight. So this is how you kind of dial in these different builds, and you pick the correct motor for them. There's not just like, hey, I'm building a 3-inch rig. What motor should I use? I have no fucking clue, because I don't know if it's a 3-inch toothpick. I don't know if it's a 3-inch Cinewhoop. I don't know if it's a Bando Basher. Like, I try to clue you guys in on the thought process that goes through my head to pick these motors, because it's really difficult, right? Like the Fiverr sessions where you spend a half an hour on the phone with me or an hour on the phone with me, I have enough time with just you to ask you all of these questions to figure out what would be the perfect build. On these live streams, what I try to do is give you all the information and teach you how to fish so that you can figure it out on yourself. And the motor width to height is one of the best ways to do that. The motor KVs, that's a little bit tougher, but the actual stator size, we've kind of decoded it by now, and yeah, the ratio of width to height is the best way to kind of dial in on what you're looking for and just think through the build. Maximum consistency 4-to-1 or even 5-to-1. Little bit more performance, a little bit less weight, you can drop down to 3-to-1 like we do on 2207s. And they still perform totally fine, as long as you don't get down towards 2-to-1. 2-to-1 is anything less than 3-to-1, and it's no good. Like 3-to-1 is really where you want to stop in terms of the width to height if you want something that's even remotely consistent. If you're building like some kind of a drag race quad or a dyno queen where it's going to make a shitload of power for just 1 split second, go right ahead. Go down to 2-to-1. You're going to see the less stator width and the more stator height, the more instantaneous power that you're going to get. So if for some reason you just want a ton of power for like a quarter of a second when you go full throttle, which is, I'll be honest, it's very fun to have a build like that. It's a build that you can just like fly around and go whoop, and it goes hurtling into the fucking heavens. And like, that's very fun. In a way. It kind of gets old pretty quick though. You do that like 30, 40 times and you're like, okay, I've got a really powerful rig. But then the motors overheat, and if you try to fly it like with any kind of proximity to objects, it's a nightmare. So yeah, those rigs are like fun to do once, but then they get old pretty quick, and then you just wasted $100 on motors that are kind of a nightmare. So yeah, Weebleed's in the house. What's up, Zotech? How are you, man? I'm just about to shut this down. I gotta go shower and eat and dance with Maggie tonight. Some guy FPV says, I use 1507 motors on a 3-inch Apex. What would be a better motor size? 6S is about 312 grams. 4S was 290 all up weight. I just gave you all the info on how to pick that and why to pick it and all that good stuff. So you should be good to go by now. Scuffed FPV says, also, do you think it's worth it removing the heat shield from my 75mm Module 7? No, do not remove the heat shields on the Module AIOs. That was way too sketchy. Don't do it. Yes, a gram and a half is a lot of weight, but it's an $80 VTX, and you could very easily ruin it. Buy another one. Buy a Walksnail. This is what you do. You buy a Walksnail light with the camera, and then you have an extra camera, which you're going to need at some point. You're going to break your camera lens at some point. So yeah, order another Walksnail light kit. You'll get the VTX without the heat shield on it, and then you'll get yourself an extra camera. And you want to have an extra camera. Cool? Do that. Thanks for hanging, my friends. I'll see you tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. I don't know what we'll do, but maybe this will be back together. Probably not, because tonight's going to be a little bit busy. Man, my fingies be hurting. Sorry I didn't get more on this build done, but I thought that I would be able to reattach the other heat shield, the previous heat shield, and then just drop it into a frame today and do the 40,000 kV testing. But yeah, that did not happen. And I potentially ruined another VTX in the process of removing the heat shield. We'll see. We'll see next time if I fuck this thing up or not. I'm going to try to find a Walksnail light in stock somewhere so that I can get... I need to get a couple of these VTXs without the heat shields on them. Be good. Thanks for hanging, guys. CiottiFPV.com is how you support me. It makes a huge difference. Yeah, we'll keep doing this together forever and save each other money along the way. Don't be like me. Don't remove these heat shields. Bad. That was a reckless decision. I should have stopped halfway through and tried isopropyl or any number of other things that you guys are suggesting, but hey, sometimes you got to be a stubborn bastard. You don't have to. You shouldn't. It's bad. Here you guys go. I don't know what I'm going to play. I know what I'm going to play. The other fireworks raw file. Be good, my friends. This was from a bunch of years ago. This is a simulated flight. I flew this in the simulator. Later, people. I'll see you tomorrow night. Bye, 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 bye.